Have you ever wondered which ancient armies were the most powerful and influential? Throughout history, there have been many amazing armies that have left their mark on the world. In today's world, we are going to explore some of the greatest ancient armies and the facts that make them stand out. From the legendary Roman Empire to the mighty Mongol Empire, let's look at the most impressive ancient armies. Hello and welcome to the Juicy Truth. Before we begin, please subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to receive more amazing content. Now, let's get started with the video. Number 3. Ottoman Army. In its prime, the Ottoman army controlled most of the Middle East, the Balkans, and North Africa. It almost always overpowered its Christian and Muslim neighbors. In 1453, it took over Constantinople, one of the world's most challenging cities to get into. For 500 years, it was basically the only player in a region that used to have dozens of states, and until the 19th century, it was able to hold its own against all of its neighbors. You might wonder, how did they do it? Well, the Ottoman army started using cannons and muskets well before its opponents, many of whom still battled with medieval weapons. This gave it a significant advantage when it was a young empire. Cannon took Constantinople and beat the Persians and Mamluks of Egypt. One of the biggest advantages of the Ottomans was that they had special elite infantry units called janissaries. Janissaries were trained from a young age to be soldiers, so they were very loyal and impactful on a battlefield. Number 2. The Mongol Army. When the Mongols began their conquests in 1206, there were no more than 1 million of them. In 100 years, they were able to defeat armies and nations with tens or even hundreds of times as many people as the Mongols. They were basically an unstoppable force that seemed to come out of nowhere and take over the Middle East, China, and Russia. Genghis Khan, who started the Mongol Empire, used a lot of different strategies and tactics to make the Mongols successful. Most important was their ability to move around and their stamina. Also, their nomadic way of life allowed them to move large armies over long distances in a short amount of time. This was because they could live off of their herds or the blood of their horses. In fact, the Mongols' ability to move around was helped by how much they relied on horses. Each Mongol cavalryman cared for 3 or 4 horses to keep them healthy. Cavalrymen who could shoot from their horses with bows had a clear advantage over the infantry during the battle. The mobility provided by the horses, as well as their rigorous discipline, enabled the Mongols to employ new tactics, such as hit-and-run attacks, and a primitive form of blitzkrieg. The Mongols also relied a lot on terror. When they beat an enemy, they would purposely cause a lot of damage and deaths to break the morale of future enemies. Number 1. The Roman Army. Over the course of a few hundred years, the Roman army is known to have taken over most of the Western world. The Roman army's strength was its ability to fight repeatedly, even after being completely defeated. During the Punic Wars, the Romans showed this by beating the Carthaginians despite not having enough knowledge or resources. They did this by first waiting them out and then using the tactics of surprise, that is, by landing an army at Carthage itself. The Roman army gave its soldiers many ways to fight for the army with vigor and determination. For poor soldiers, winning a war meant getting land. For landowners, it meant protecting what they valued and also making more money. For the Roman state as a whole, victory meant securing Rome's safety. All of these possibilities made Roman soldiers fight harder, which is vital because morale is a big part of how well an army does. Its use of multi-line formations was also a big part of this, as this helped the Roman army send fresh troops to the front lines of battle, where they would face off against tired enemies. Often led by brilliant generals, they also used mobility to gain offensive advantages, especially against enemies who were often more focused on defense. As a result, in about 300 years, Rome went from being a small Italian power to ruling the whole Mediterranean Sea and the territories around it. Even though the Roman army had some setbacks, it really didn't have any equal strength rivals in the region. All in all, the greatest ancient armies have left a lasting legacy and profoundly shaped how we view warfare. As we look back on their incredible achievements, we can appreciate their bravery, strength, and ambition. And with that, we conclude today's video. What are your thoughts on today's video? Do you know of any other ancient greatest armies? Let us know in the comments. Also, if you liked the video, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks a lot for tuning in. See you later.